Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I have received a question on praying Jumu'ah at home, in Jama'ah, in congregation, after listening to a virtual khutbah that has been streamed live from your center or mosque. Can you do that? My answer is, in ordinary times, every Muslim who is able to go to the masjid, every Muslim who is healthy, is not in jail, must go to the masjid for Jumu'ah. If you neglect 3 Jumu'ahs consecutively, there is a danger Allah may place a seal on your heart. You know, Allah placing a seal on the heart means that person becomes abandoned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is light of Iman would not enter his heart or her. So it's very, very important for us to understand that in ordinary times, we ought to go and join the Jama'ah in the masjid, in your local Jami mosque you are part of, because every one of us should be part of a Jama'ah, a local Jami mosque. This is the spirit of Islam, because Islam wants to build a community, and we need to meet with our people, our fellow Muslims, and we need to develop this bond of Islamic brotherhood. Now, that situation, we cannot have that benefit now. It's a lockdown, obligatory on us to observe the rules that our government has prescribed for our own safety. A Muslim cannot break these rules, because Sharia is based, one of the fundamental objectives of Sharia is preservation of life. So whatever guidelines they have prescribed, we must observe them. Muslims should be in the forefront of observing these rules, because that is part of Islamic Sharia teaching for us. So as long as this lockdown is a fact, how long we are going to forego Jumu'ah? Now months, for weeks we have not prayed Jumu'ah. So can there be a way for us in fiqh, to allow us to listen to a virtual khutbah? A khutbah delivered virtually is khutbah. The only difference is we are not sitting in that precise hall. It is streamed. Just like you are taking, courses now. Universities closed down and they offer course online. It's a temporary measure. As long as this lockdown is lifted, they will resume proper classes in the classroom setting. So can Islam and Islamic jurisprudence, can there be a way of relaxing this hard rule, so that this condition, one condition is removed, so that people can enjoy the benefit of some benefit? Ma la yudrak kulluhu, la yutrak kulluhu. Imam Shah Waliullah, one of the greatest philosopher of Islamic Sharia, has enunciated this principle. The Sharia is based on this principle that if you cannot fulfill something by observing all of the requirements, that doesn't mean you skip it altogether. So in this spirit, I will say that Sharia allows us, fiqh allows us, in this condition as a temporary measure. If the khutbah is streamed live from your mosque and you are able to listen to it, because khutbah is in place of 2 rakah. Back home in the village mosque, I still remember the khatib goes on the mimbar, I say salam, and the muazzin stands up and make an announcement. In this announcement he says, Ya ma'ashar al-Muslimin, O Muslims, understand that khutbah is in place of the 2 rakah of Dhuhr. So it's important to listen to the khutbah. Unfortunately, the khutbah is delivered in Arabic and nobody understands there except maybe one or two alifs there. And yet there is stringent requirement. You must listen to the khutbah. Oman laga fala Jumu'ah. Whoever is neglectful and does not pay heed to the khutbah, his Jumu'ah is invalid. So because we are able to listen to the khutbah, which is, part of it is in Arabic, the essentials in Arabic, and the other thing is in English, communication of the message in English, it becomes full khutbah. According to all schools of jurisprudence, uh, Hanafi school as well as Shafi and other schools. So once you have listened to the khutbah, you have more than one person to lead the salah at home, you can definitely make this concession, relaxed ruling of praying the Jummah. If you don't go by that, then of course you have to, pray for rakah. But I don't know why would you have the habit of a virtual khutbah at the time of Jummah without allowing these people to give that option of praying two rakah of Jummah Salah, because in Islamic jurisprudence, it's not a requirement that a khatib uh, is the same person who leading the Salah. So you cannot make that objection, khatib is someone else and the imam is someone else at home. No, that can be done. That's another relaxation in the Sharia, al-mashaqqatu tajlibu taysir, where there is a hardship, the rigors of the law are relaxed. And this is the jurisprudence that we must practice now, because, after all, I remember as a child in my village, there was a big debate which went on for more than a day. Scholars came from all over the state and they were debating the issue whether microphone can be used in the masjid or not. After all these discussions, they decided it is against, it cannot be used because you are changing the format of the ibadah. But within few years, microphone was introduced in the masjid for adhan and khutbah, and waz were given, maulid were recited, and of course we all enjoyed it. In the same way, monitor, can there be use of monitor? People can follow the imam using the monitor. Now it is accepted. When it initially introduced, everybody questioned it and they rejected it, most of them, but now it has been accommodated. The same way, this is a device, streaming device, where you can follow the khatib. So if they are praying Jummah over there, it's streamed alive, you can join. Of course, this is not from Ahmad Kutty, one of the greatest muhaddith of Morocco, actually a Ghamari, rahmullah, he's a muhaddith and a faqih, considered a mujtahid. He well versed in Maliki school as well as Shafi school. He already gave the permission for people in those to follow the imam listening to from the radio. If you are alive, surely 100% even we will support this thing. So of course, based on this, many of the masajid now have taken on this ruling, and they stream the Jummah khutbah as well as the prayer, and their congregation are following it. So I would urge you, if you want to take that option, is a valid option. There is nothing against it in the Sharia, unless you are bound by the letter of what is written in previous centuries when this kind of devices never existed. In that case, you cannot use microphone, you cannot use monitor, you have to pray in that limited hall. Then prayers of most of the people in the haram, as well as in the hotels in the vicinity of haram, and in the clock tower, they are following the imam from the haram, it will be invalid. And by the same logic, the prayers of many of these masajid, where they allow women to follow the imam from the monitor, will be invalid. Nobody would go that route. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to relax the rules for people to have that habit, because once you break this habit of Jumu'ah, it's hard to get back to it. Because psychologists say once you have developed that habit, you may be able to break it, few weeks, but months, So that's why we cannot allow for that disconnect, and we should condition people. But I would stress again and again that no sooner this lockdown is lifted, we must go back to our masajid and pray behind the imam. At that time, this ruling will not be valid. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.